Hey there everyone, and welcome to the startup process. Whether it's a hangout with friends or just a late night craving, McDonald's is always on the menu. McDonald's has become one of the largest fast food chains in the entire world. No matter where you go, you can almost always find a McDonald's nearby to whet your appetite. It makes more than $100 billion of sales in a year. This is not a surprise, as it has a reputation for providing cheap and reliable food on the go. But the real money doesn't only come from the dollar menu. Let's find out how a hamburger stand became not only the biggest fast food chain, but also the fifth largest real estate company with a portfolio worth $39 billion. The story starts when the McDonald family moved from Manchester, New Hampshire to Hollywood, California in the late 1930s, where brothers Richard and Maurice McDonald, also known as Dick and Mac, began working as set movers and handymen at the motion picture studios. In 1937, their father Patrick McDonald opened the Airdrome, a food stand on Huntington Drive, Route 66, near the Monrovia Airport in the Los Angeles County city of Monrovia, California, with hot dogs being one of the first items sold. Hamburgers were later added to the menu at a cost of 10 cents, with all-you-can-drink orange juice at just 5 cents. In 1940, Maurice and Richard moved the entire building 40 miles, or 64 kilometers, east to West 14th and 1398 Northeast Streets in San Bernardino, California. The restaurant was renamed McDonald's Barbecue and had 25 menu items, mostly, of course, barbecue. In October 1948, after the McDonald brothers realized that most of their profits came from selling hamburgers, they closed down their successful car hop drive-in to establish a streamlined system with a simple menu that consisted of only hamburgers, cheeseburgers, potato chips, coffee, soft drinks, and apple pie. After the first year, potato chips and pie were swapped out for French fries and milkshakes. The car hops were eliminated, making the new restaurant a self-service operation. Richard and Maurice took great care in setting up their kitchen like an assembly line to ensure maximum efficiency. The restaurant's name was changed again, this time to simply McDonald's. After a considerable amount of success in the next few years, the company started looking at franchising. Their first franchisee was Neil Fox, a distributor for General Petroleum Corporation. Fox's stand opened in May 1953 at Central Avenue and Indian School Road in Phoenix, Arizona. Later in 1954, Ray Kroc took over the initiative of opening the franchises of McDonald's all over the country after he visited McDonald's and realized that this is the key to success. The brothers were to receive 0.5% of gross sales, and trust me folks, that turned out to be a lot. Anyways, later in 1956, Ray Kroc met Harry J. Sonneborn, a former VP of Finance for Tasty Freeze, who offered an idea to accelerate the growth and investment grade of Kroc's planned McDonald's operation. Harry J. Sonneborn told Ray Kroc that the real business is real estate, so he completely changed the company's vision. The plan was this: own the real estate that future franchises would be built on. Real estate, you can never go wrong with that. Kroc hired Sonneborn, and his plan was executed by forming a separate company called Franchise Reality Corp, which was solely designed to hold McDonald's real estate. The new company signed leases and took out mortgages for both lands and buildings, in turn then passing these costs onto the franchisee with a 20 to 40% markup and a reduced initial deposit of $950. The Sonneborn model of real estate ownership within the franchise persists to this day, possibly being the most important financial decision in the company's history. The McDonald's brothers, however, were not very fond of this idea. In 1961, Kroc's conflict over the vision of the company with the founding brothers had grown to an unbearable extent, and he asked them how much money they wanted to leave their business to him entirely. The brothers asked for $2.7 million, which makes up about $21.6 million in today's dollars, which Kroc did not have. Harry J. Sonneborn was able to raise the money for him, and Kroc bought the founding brothers out. My life is a lie. Old McDonald never got to have a farm after all. Anyways, this purchase laid the groundwork for positioning the company for an IPO and furthering the aim at making McDonald's the #1 fast food chain in the country. The exact process of how the company was sold is not well recorded. It is depicted as a hostile takeover by Ray Kroc in the movie The Founder, but that portrayal is disputed, and interviews of the time speak of a more voluntary transition. But then again, if Kroc never took over, we might never have seen the company grow to what it has become today. The chain continued to expand domestically and internationally, extending to Canada in 1967, reaching a total of 10,000 restaurants by 1988, and operating more than 35,000 outlets in more than 100 countries in the early 21st century. Growth was so swift in the 1990s that it was said a new McDonald's opened somewhere in the world every 5 hours. In the late 20th century, McDonald's moved beyond the hamburger business by acquiring Chipotle Mexican Grill (1988), Donato's Pizza (1999), and Boston Market (2000) in the United States, and in the United Kingdom, McDonald's purchased Aroma Cafe (1999) and interest in Pret A Manger (2001), a sandwich restaurant chain. However, by late 2008, McDonald's no longer owned or had a stake in any of those companies and instead started to concentrate on its own brand. The company's real estate business has been one of the major reasons for the rapid growth of the McDonald's food business. Here is how it works today. Because McDonald's has decades of experience buying and selling properties, it knows the specifications of a successful location. After successfully locating the property, it buys it with long-term fixed interest rates. Then, when someone applies to operate their own McDonald's franchise, they sign a franchise agreement with the company. The agreement consists of every detail from how the burgers are cooked to the hours of operation. Maybe that is why we see that McDonald's tastes the same anywhere in the world. The franchisee makes an initial investment of $1 to $2 million. These 20-year contracts also demand that the franchise must be located at the location that McDonald's has bought. Basically, this gives McDonald's a tenant that will always pay above market rate. But some of you might be wondering why McDonald's franchises are in such high demand to conform to such terms. Well, I'm going to tell you about McDonald's business secrets, but if you want to know the same for other corporate giants, subscribe to our channel. Now, let's go back. McDonald's has notoriously strict criteria for its franchisees. Additionally, the franchisees are also responsible for paying salaries, ordering supplies, and paying rent, owning the premises. So why become a franchisee? The lure is that McDonald's provides them with an almost guaranteed moneymaker, due in large part to the impressive margins. The restaurant industry is infamous for its turnover, and as any restaurant owner will tell you, one major reason is that the margins can be thinner than a slice of processed American cheese. Yet, McDonald's operating margins are double quarter pounder thick at more than 40%. How is that possible in a business whose very purpose is providing inexpensive food? For instance, the average franchise makes $2.7 million in sales every year with $154,000 in final profit. That is because McDonald's is a renowned fast food chain. The rest is assured by the Hamburger University, where McDonald's teaches their franchisees how to run a successful franchise. Yes, they actually have that. This unique business model makes real cash for McDonald's. This was also the reason why McDonald's was one of the only 2 stocks to increase in value in 2008, despite the terrible market conditions of the time. As noted in its latest annual report, 10K Report stated that in 2018, the company continued to evolve to a more heavily franchised business model and is currently about 93% franchised, with a long-term goal of approximately 95%. The company will continue to progress towards the long-term goal in 2019, primarily by refranchising restaurants to conventional licensees. As a result of the continued evolution of the company's business model, in September 2018, the company announced several organizational changes to its global business structure. These changes are designed to continue the company's efforts toward efficiently driving growth as a better McDonald's through the Velocity Growth Program. McDonald's, however, stays reluctant to the idea of separating its real estate business and its fast food business, and you really don't need to have a big brain anymore to understand why. If that happens, then McDonald's will have both a successful fast food chain and a top-of-the-line real estate empire. McDonald's has effectively become the most popular family restaurant, emphasizing affordable food, fun, and flavors that appeal to children and adults alike. Big Mac is all over the big map. That was terrible, I'm sorry. Anyways, that's about it for McDonald's. Thanks for tuning in with us. I hope you liked the video. Hit the like button if you did. Also, subscribe to our channel to receive our content directly on your feed. And oh yeah, hit that bell icon to receive instant updates from our channel. Catch you later.